wall, and they bought textbooks off the market that they thought were better and more appropriate and more interesting.
The state's commitment to education extended beyond public schools. In 1959, California created a comprehensive system of public colleges and universities, the first state to do so.
It was a commitment to anybody in the state that there would be a place for them somewhere in the higher education system. But there was a commitment of access to everybody.
This is a center of great educational institutions. Among them, the world's largest, the University of California, with an enrollment of 25,092 students.
This is, this is the land of sunshine. It's the land of new opportunity. It's a great kind of wonderful historical tradition in that. There's still something in our air, in our water, that makes people reach for those all-purpose, magical solutions.
And I know when I die, I shall breathe my last sigh for my sunny California.
California was awakened suddenly from its reverie in 1965. Riots broke out in the Watts section of Los Angeles. After 6 days of rioting, 34 people were dead, and entire neighborhoods lay in ruins. The Watts riot drew attention to racism and poverty and to the problems in California's public schools. California's system of paying for schools with local property taxes had created vast inequities in education, with some well-to-do districts outspending poor districts 4-to-1.
Public schools in the 1960s, looking around, began to pay attention to public education as the primary vehicle of equal access and upward mobility into the society. If you have a society that is struggling for equal rights for each of its citizens, then the public schools, if they were the cutting edge of the society, had to be the cutting edge of that reform.
In 1968, California's system of funding public schools was challenged in the courts in a lawsuit known as Serrano versus Priest.
The theory of those cases was Beverly Hills spends X amount of dollars for its students per pupil, and East LA students get X minus a couple thousand for their students, and that's not okay. So we should equalize funding, and that will fix education for everybody.
The court agreed and ordered equal school spending across the state, but that did not mean that poor districts got more.
What happened then is we equalized down. So we spent X minus a couple $1,000s for all students, including Beverly Hills students, which was a plus for no one.
We had all the districts spending in a very narrow range, $100 adjusted for costs. And so we really wrote off adequacy, and we ended up with equalized mediocrity.
California imposed a ceiling, limiting spending to a few $1,000s per student. Districts that had raised the most money in the past were hit hard.
And if their property tax revenue went up, then the state took away state funding. If their property taxes went down, the state backfilled. So if you got more property tax revenue in your school district, you just lost state money. The public said, well, gee, our property taxes don't go to schools. It doesn't matter if we raise more money for schools and property taxes, it doesn't go to schools, so what do we care?
Meanwhile, property taxes exploded.
Relative property values in California were skyrocketing. It was a time of inflation. People would have a house that they bought for $30,000. It would get reassessed at $150,000. Their property tax would triple.
I am mad as hell. And the people are mad as hell, and I'm getting madder than hell every day.
Before long, California had a property tax revolt on its hands, led by businessman Howard Jarvis.
Howard Jarvis, he had been a kind of a bumbling sort of fellow, never been taken very seriously, a gadfly kind of guy. But he grabbed onto an issue that struck the hearts of people in California, that the property taxes were out of whack.
There is no limit today